I'm Deb from the Mossy Knoll, and I'm here to walk you through step by step on how to complete our Patriotic DIY sign kit. So let's get started. Alright, so let's take a look at what is inside the kit. There are these two L brackets that come together, and that will be your sign stand. Then we have the bigger wood pieces and the rest of the kit right here. And I also included some typed out instructions, a paper towel, and a large piece of paper. And this is just to protect your work surface. All right, let's take a look at what's inside this bag. So here we have the white paint. We have all the colors you're going to need. We have red paint, black paint, blue paint, stain, which is actually just watered down brown, and 2 pots of glue just in case you need extra glue. Then we have our tiny wood pieces right here. We have 2 different kinds of brushes. We have this broader brush and a fine tip brush. We have this foam brush and a toothpick. We are going to put the white paint on first, and we're going to do 2 coats, and it's really important to do 2 coats or else it's going to look kind of streaky with just the one. With the other small pieces, I think the directions actually say apply 2 coat or reapply a 2nd coat. That is really just up to you. The red and blue, I don't think I did a 2nd coat on. But the black I did just to kind of touch it up. So it's really just, I'm leaving that up to you guys and what your preference is, and it just really depends on how you put on the first coat too. So you'll see here that I'm brushing out. Let me check the video, make sure. Yeah, I'm brushing out, and then that way I can avoid getting white paint on the edges. Just because personally I like the look of the burned wood on the sides, but you can paint it white if you want, or if you were trying to keep the sides brown and you get white on there, that's, you know, you have a backup plan to just paint it white. I like to make sure the lines are all going in the same direction, and so I'm just making them parallel with the shiplap line. Okay, so we have that first coat done. I have the fan on in this room, so this is gonna dry really fast. So I'll come back to this in a minute. I'm gonna cover my paint too because the fan is on. So the most time-consuming part of this kit is going to be the flag, because these are super tiny details. Oh, look at that. That brush is a little funky, but that shouldn't matter. So all these little details, they're really gonna take some patience and time. The first thing that we want to do is the stain, and that is because we're gonna let it sit on the pole for a minute, and then we're gonna wipe it off with some of the paper towel that is in the box. That way it kind of gives it like a washed brown look. This is going to be painted black over here, so don't even be that careful. I don't know why I'm being so careful. You know what? At the beginning of this video, I did not tell you that the only thing that you need to complete this kit is a cup of water. So I have mine right here. And whenever you're switching colors, you're just going to get your paper towel and wipe your brush clean, and then clean it off with the water. And that way your water stays clean longer. I'm going to take a piece of the paper towel. Let me bring this up more. I do not make many tutorial videos, can you guys tell? So I'm going to put this aside. Our the big wood round is dried, and so I'm going to go ahead and put on the 2nd coat of that. How did I get white paint over here? Now I'm going to put this aside. And we are going to use more of this white paint, so make sure that you cover it, especially if you have a fan on like I do. Oh my gosh, it's smushing. This, you can put in your water. So now I like to work lighter colors to darker colors, so that way when you need to overlap, you're not trying to cover black with white, because that is harder than covering, you know, white with black. So I'm going to start talking about black. It made me open it. So I'm going to start with the white paint that I just closed. So we're going to just go slow. I'm trying not to get my white paint in the grooves, but again, that's just because I like the dimension that it adds. So in here you can see that it's black around the stars. That's really up to you too. It's really about your preference, and then also, honestly, your patience. So now we have our stars painted, and I'm going to move on to the stripes. And there is a picture that came in your kit that you can use as a reference, so you know where it starts. It starts with red on top, and then it ends with white, and then on this side here, this starts with white, and they're both mirrored, so they're the exact same stripe pattern on both sides. I'm cleaning my small brush so that way it's prepped for the next time I need it. I'm going to use this brush for my white stripes. Okay, so the white starts with the second stripe. You know what, I'm actually going to switch over to the detailed brush. This one will be better for this one is better for the words anyway. The words and the numbers. Now we're going to move on to doing the blue, which is, of course, the outside of the stars. And this is what I mean by this is going to take a lot of patience, because these are some really tiny areas. You can see it's almost impossible to not get the paint on top of each other here, but I'm going to go back in and touch it up. I'm definitely going to do a second coat because it looks kind of streaky. Just to help my mind, I'm going to touch up these stars. To the red. Let's do the red. Okay, so we're going back to blue to do that second coat. Okay, now I'm going to unpackage these little wood pieces because we're going to move on to the black. I'm going to use this brush for the black paint. Now I'm going to let all of these pieces dry. The flag's pretty much dry. We're going to let the words dry, and then we're going to move on to gluing. If you're anything like me, you've got paint all over your hands, so you're going to want to wash your hands, get the paint off, so that way as you're gluing and touching this, you're not getting paint spots all over. And that way it can stay clean looking. So the glue is in your paint pots. I'm going to glue down this biggest piece first. You want to try to do an even coat, because if you do too much, it's going to do too much seeping out the side. Okay, and then I'm going to carefully-ish, pick that up. If you want, you can kind of wipe your fingers along the edges just to get any extra glue that might have already gotten on there. We have these guides here, which is really convenient. I'm actually going to stand up out of my chair and use the weight of my body to push on this. The reason the toothpick is included is so if there's any glue that's seeped out, you can use this to kind of scrape the edge and then wipe your toothpick clean on the paper towel. I don't see any, but the glue is white, the background's white, and it does dry clear, so I think we're good on these pieces. Now I'm going to put glue on the rest of them. Alright, that's the last piece. I have some of these white spots on my words, and I'm just going to touch them up with some black paint. And yeah, if you see anything else on your sign that needs to be touched up, touch it up. Now is the time. And we are done. That is your sign. I am going to keep this flat until the glue is dry. It just takes a couple hours. This is a sign stand, and I'm going to slide these two pieces together. And I pre-stain this for you just so that way you're not having to make your house smelly with real stain. That's why I did the watered down brown paint for the flagpole, because real stain is smelly. It's very strong. So that's already done for you. But you can see how, let me get my finished sign here and show you. If you want to hang it on a wall, then I highly recommend those command strips. I like to use the Velcro ones. That will work perfectly because this isn't heavy. I would love to see how you guys, how your signs came out, and I would also absolutely love to see how you decorate with them. That is my favorite part of the Mossy Knoll, is seeing how other people use our signs. I hope you had as much fun as I did creating the sign. If you haven't purchased a kit yet, I'm going to put a link in this description of the video so you can get one of your own. And if you have purchased one and you did make one with me, thank you so much for buying one and supporting our small shop. Matt and I really appreciate it, and we hope that you have a great day.